Hey, this is Mark with Cover Cats Auto Trim. I have looked all over the internet for the 1964, actually 62 to 65, I think it is, the convertible top procedure and how it's done. Can't find it anywhere. I saw one with Mike's Madness, and it looked like he didn't actually know what he was doing. I'm a seasoned veteran. I've been doing this for over 40 years. So I want you to stick with us. Please hit the subscribe and like button and click the bell for notifications when we have new videos. I've got 500 subscribers now, I believe 501 now. So stick with us. I'm with the owner. His name is Mike, and we're working with the 1964 Corvair Monza. Now, the procedure is the same for the Spider, so just so you know, we're going to be covering everything, hopefully step by step, what needs to be done. All right, thanks for watching. All right, step one is going to be these right here. Okay, come on a little bit closer. What we're going to do is literally remove each one of these right here. We're going to use a special tool to get each one of these tacks out. But for right now, I'm interested in taking this off. Yes, I'm a little bit shaky. Let me get a smaller device here. I'm going to be using probably the smallest one I have. Not that one. This is a good kit to have. If you don't have it, go out and buy you a kit. There it is right there. We're going to use this right here. We're going to extract these screws. And that's going to come out. And we'll go to the other side. By the way, your customer's not going to appreciate it if you leave these on the ground for their tires to pick up, so make sure that you hang on to them. Also, if you're pulling staples, the same thing applies. Keep them in your hands and put them in something that'll hold them, just like this right here. It's got a magnetic base. So when we start pulling these tacks, see how that bad boy just stays right in there? Here's a screw. That one doesn't stick as much because it's probably stainless steel. That will, though, because it's metal. Now, there's two ways you can do this. You can either go and use a flat blade screwdriver, or you can use something in the upholstery world. It's called an Osborne staple remover. This is it. Come over here on the passenger side and get up underneath it and twist. That's all. That's all you got to do is twist. Each one of these, looks like they got two right next to each other there. There it is. Until you get to the other side. I don't see tacks up underneath this. What I do see is what we call, they're not stainless. These staples are galvanized staples. Okay, so back then they were not using stainless steel, they were using galvanized staples. That's to control the rust. Because even after it stops raining, you're still going to be dealing with a little bit of rust. Furthermore, after you discard this right here, put it in a trash can. Don't lay it on the floor. You don't want to stick your air hoses, because if your air hose is up over this right here, it could quite possibly rupture the air hose. Zoom in right here. Now, previous to this coming off, you can see that a staple was revealed there. So I'm just kind of curious as to why. That sucker held in there real good. All right. We got both of our metal caps off that were held on by stainless steel screws. So now we're going to use a tape measure to determine how far up off of this right here we've got to go to reinstall our screws. And then we're going to write that down in chalk so that we do not forget what that measurement is. All right, let's pause the video. Knowledge is power. And I'm saying that because you don't really know how many Priuses are on the road until you own one, or how many Trailblazers are on the road until you own one. Then you see them everywhere. So here's the thing. If you're a Corvair owner, you'll know that 1960 to 1964 was the first generation of the Corvair. 65 to 69 was the second generation, and I can thank Mike for bringing me up to speed on that. All right, now let's talk about this top. Just before we take it off and everything, I want you to know a couple of things, all right? There are some times when you feel like the top just isn't sitting right. What determines that and defines that is this right here. And I want you to zoom in, come a little closer. Do you see how the material is folded over and it looks like there is a pocket right here? It's not really a pocket. This is where it settles on that bow, okay? It's nested right there. Furthermore, you're going to want to apply some tape right here, okay? You want to put a piece of tape in here so you know exactly how far around to pull this. Furthermore, after this is removed, you're going to lay it on top of your new one and get the distance of where it's stapled here to where it's stapled down there. And here's the thing. If you feel like this right here, which is the seam line of the zipper, if you feel that this is too low, then you're probably going to have to raise the entire thing. Those are the determining factors. The distance between this bow and that rail back there at the center point is going to be critical. So get a tape measure and do your homework. Write those numbers down like we're going to do now. Don't use a piece of chalk. Use a white china marker. I use chalk for my own purposes. But now at this point, we're going to get what they call the bow height on this. You can be within a 1/2 inch to 1.25 inches off. I say this one is 21.5 to 1.5 bow height. All right. Chalk may go away. This won't. All right. Let's pause. After all your staples are removed, it will allow you to see how much dirt and everything was on here. And sometimes that dirt is caked up enough to where it will hide the staples. So be sure that you get them all out. Now it's time to move inside. We're going to raise that up, that right there. And we're going to go underneath it to expose all of the nuts that go on the inside here. And we're going to take that off next. All right, now, far as I know, to get this up and out, you're going to have to take this top panel off. There's one screw here and 2 screws here, top and the bottom. You'll take those out and you'll have access to remove or lift up this well cover.
And if you don't want it, just
okay.
don't
All right. So the one thing that defines a manual top from a convertible top is this large spring. This is basically the fulcrum point is here. You would have the top in the down position where there's almost no pressure on this. There will be some pressure, just to let you know. If you're going to change everything over to hydraulic, you would replace this and put a hydraulic ram in its place. All right, so now that we've got this loose, we're going to go ahead and take this and peel it back so that we can get up underneath it. We're going to do the same thing on the driver's side. Our lighting situation seems to be a little bit dim, but I want to call your attention to these right here. They're just long enough. When you get the new top on, all I want you to consider is to, one, don't tighten them all the way, especially along the back rail. You need about 1/4 of an inch where the head sits proud and it's not tightened all the way down. There's good reason for that. Number one, it's wintertime. You don't have to do this in the summertime. But in the wintertime, just to ensure that this top is installed correctly, you want to tighten these and leave about 1/4 of an inch proud to tighten up later. And I'll show you what I'm talking about, because when it comes to the front bow, you're going to have to take a piece of chalk or that white China marker that you saw earlier on in this video. You're going to need that and a series of clamps, because once everything gets installed, after you get the front bow installed, you're going to want to come back here and tighten these up the rest of the way. This will do for you what you can't do. There's no way you'll be able to stretch this, and it needs to be stretched. Furthermore, if you're doing this for a customer, you need to tell them, if it's wintertime, do not cycle this top for 3 weeks. It's very important, because it's going to take 2 people to close this once we're done. Especially when I go back here and tighten everything. It'll be after it's closed, and then I go back here and then I tighten these up. That makes it insanely tight. Okay? Now, there are more things that go on beyond what you can see or what you know. Most of the cars back in the day when they were sold, in all convertible tops in all cars, even to this day, usually sit in the parking lot of the dealership for months at a time. This means that it has plenty of time to stretch and find its place, and then the sun will bake it, and it will help the top, find its final resting place. Furthermore, if you're installing this for a customer, you need to tell them not to cycle it for 3 weeks. I think I've already said that, but the reason being is because it be in the wintertime. In the summertime, it's different. In the summertime, you would wait 3 days. Encourage your customer to go ahead and drive down, or at least ask your customer if it's okay to do a test run or a test drive. Get up to about 70 miles an hour with the windows closed to build up barometric pressure inside the cab of the car so that the top can balloon up. Now, if you don't do this, encourage your customer to do it so that, again, as you're going down the highway, you're actually stretching the top, stretching it to its final place. All right, those are the tricks of the trade. We're going to get this undone. We've got some more down here. I also want to educate you on what this is. This is called a drip rail. All right, all the rain. And these right here are what provides the separation from this back bow right there. That back bow. Right there, that back bow. It will be off the body of the car, approximately this width right here, which is about maybe, it's not 1/4, I'd say maybe 3/16 off the body of the car, so that the water can escape and go down and drip into this rail right here. And then gravity sends it down this way, and then it goes into another channel, which is further down. And for the lack of our light situation, I'm just going to show you. It goes all the way down into the well of the tire and exits the vehicle. All right, going to pause again. All right. So this on the primary is the only one that is short. What do I mean by short? I'm going to put the short one next to a long one and show you the difference. The short one goes in this hole. The long ones go in the remaining holes. Why long? Because this thing is a bear to get it back up into that corner. So you need the extra length on the bolt to go in there. These are just common metal lag bolts. That's all they are. You can pick them up at your local hardware store if you happen to lose one. They are 12 millimeter. So all the way across. These two over here, that one and that one right there, this one and this one, this is right in the way. There's only two on these side ones. Those are going to be short. Sorry for the jiggly phone. Maybe it'll get corrected when it goes to editing. For all intents and purposes, that's what we have for now. 1964 to present day, it's probably had many top replacements. I say they average about 7 to 10 years. Inside a garage, maybe 15 years. This is the only one that's oversized. It is not a 12 millimeter. Furthermore, there is nothing in this hole. I'm not sure why, but when I get the top off, I'll have a basic understanding as to why. If I have to, I'm going to go get some more hardware and I'm going to put one right next to it where it's supposed to be. It needs to be there. Maybe I'm just a perfectionist, but I like the second. The latter, I'm a perfectionist, and it needs to be there. Now that you've done your homework, all of the screws, just pay attention to that hole over there and its secondary hole. Moving on around, all these have been removed. Some are oversized, some are short, some are just different. But they're all free and clear. Now, at this point, just with your hand, you're going to maneuver this around and attempt to take this out of its channel. I'm going to need both hands to do that, so we're going to pause the video. The action is this, from the corners, and then you're going to be going this way with it towards the passenger side to break it free from the driver's side, okay? And then you'll be able to access the adhesive that's holding the top on at this point. That weather strip's got to come off. We're going to address that next. I just got to get out of the car. I'm an old fart. If you have a packing blanket, great. Cut out a hole for the sump to the same profile so that you can come up here and wrap to the sides, because once these side panels are out, there's a high risk of gouging paint, especially when you're stapling everything back on. So I encourage you to do that. I finally installed my 2 pieces of tape where I told you that this right here pulls to. So now we're going to go to the sides, and I noticed that the weather strip has pulled through. So right inside here where my finger is where those screws are going to be. There should be at least 3, a minimum of 3, and then up here towards the front there should be a minimum of 3. This one right here does not have to be changed. If you're changing out your weather strip and you got a weather strip kit, go ahead and take that one out. But for now, I'm just wanting to get the top loose, get this side free, get that side free. So what I might do is just to go ahead and razor knife this right here. Razor knife this up here so that I can go ahead and start on the third bow. 1, 2, bow number 3. We've already dealt with bow number 4. But there should be a staple line up underneath here, and I'm not sure. Nope, there is no staple line on bow number 2. That's bow number 1, by the way, guys. Bow number 2, bow number 3, bow number 4. And if you want to, you can call that bow number 5. Okay, a couple of things took place, but I'm going to cover each and every one of those for you step by step so that you don't get lost. We have these pieces right here. You'll notice that I have it labeled passenger forward. That means it settles down in here this way. There was one screw up here. The nuts are on the back side. So all I did was cut through the top, made it to where I could access everything because they were sticking through, and it looked like if I can get them to go back in there, I'll be glad to do it for you. But it's being a little ornery, and I may have it upside down. As a matter of fact, I think I do. Nope, I don't have it upside down. But anyway, if it's vertical, make your arrow go up towards the sky. Same thing with this one right here. When you take that one off, make sure that the arrow is going up towards the sky. If it's going horizontal like this right here, make sure the arrow is going towards the front of the car. Always be sure to put the word passenger and driver, because if you're using these over again, you're going to want to know what goes where. Now, beyond that, we have some screws here for the cables. The cable attaches right here. We're going to go to the other side, and I'm going to make a fresh cut for you guys so you can see everything firsthand. Let's go over to the other side of the car. So that what you cannot see right now at this point, I'm going to reveal to you. About 2.5 inches back, start with a cut. You're going to go up towards the sky, up to about this point right here. Try not to catch these pads. All right, now I'm going to shine down inside here so that you can see what's going on. This is the bottom half of the guide cable. These are the nuts. And when you go to install this, you're going to have to crawl inside the car and do it. But you're going to have to do it that way. But anyway, yeah. Up here, there are 2 nuts and then 2 screws. All right. One up here and one down here. You'll have to cut right here, and you'll have to get this turned loose so that you can grab this and pull it all the way through. Now, our replacement cables do not look anything like these cables, and they came with a little document that looks like this. They want you, if have old cable, cut old cable at bracket as shown. So it says cut here. We're not going to do that. All we're going to do is reuse the cables they provided and use hole A for the front and use hole B for the back pillar. A pillar, B pillar. You understand? Front to back. Okay? All right. That should catch us up to everything. The only one thing to do left now at this point is to go ahead and get your weather strips removed. There are a couple of screws up in this area right here you'll notice that the new ones look a little bit better than the old ones, of course. You have this hole here that has a screw in it. Right now it's covered because it's fresh rubber. Clark's Corvair has all these components for you. Okay, Clark's Corvair. Clark Corvair.
Yes.
Huh?
Clarkes.
Okay, ES. Okay, so Clarkes. Clark's Corvair. Is there another part of that name?
No, they're out of Massachusetts.
Out of Massachusetts. That's where you're going to get your parts from. So, anyway, there are a couple of extra holes. There's another hole right there, right here, and a hole right there, and then a hole right here, and then this last and final hole. 3 screws. Those screws you can actually replace and use. This is one of them that came out. I don't like that. That's not what's supposed to be in there. It does need to have a pan head like that, though. A pancake screw, they're called pancake screws or upholstery screws. Those are good things to use. All right, that'll cover the removal of the front. Now, yours might not be the same. It might be a bunch of teeth or cleats that have to be folded back after you remove a staple line. You may have to take a rubber carcass out of the front bow here. This area right in here. This one, I'm going to show you what this one looks like. It appears that, go ahead and shine down in here. It appears that they have a metal bow that was pop riveted. You can see all these pop rivets along here, along this metal piece. Logic stands to reason. The best way to do this is to go ahead and drill out your pop rivets, remove this, take it out, then go ahead and use glue. And the methods I'm going to show you in part 2 of this video, when we go to put everything back, it's very important that you follow. If you have this particular configuration, it's very important that you follow my guidelines on this. This right here is nothing more than glued on. So we'll be masking off so we don't get glue everywhere, okay? We'll mask off and then we'll go ahead and glue everything back together and get this thing changed out. I'm going to have to drill this pop rivet out right here. Can you zoom in? I'm going to have to drill him out. Got to drill him out. He doesn't belong there. We're going to have to get this one out. And each one of these, you can go ahead and peel this out of your way, okay? So it looks like, I don't know if you can see that, it had something to help retain it into this hole, but it still had adhesive. I don't think the new one comes with that. As a matter of fact, I'm dead certain they don't come with that because I've got these mollies right here and I don't see any metal carcass sticking out to go into those. But those are called mollies. What it does have is this, which is not metal. This will go into each one of these. I'm going to do a test hole. We're going to drill a hole into this right here. We're going to settle one of these down inside it and see if it snaps in place. It needs to snap in place, which is very, very critical because these right here are going to snap into those mollies, if that makes any sense. And if it doesn't work, you can take each one of these out. Okay, that's what they look like. You can take each one of these out and use standard weather strip adhesive. What does that look like? Let's walk over here. It's made by 3M. That's her. and it cures exceptionally fast. All right. That does it for part 1. Tune in for part 2.